Hello everybody, welcome on in for the most heavy metal episode of our Alan Wake replay right now. Hope everyone is going well. Or going well? Doing good? One of those things. I don't know. Today is technically my Friday. I have a nice extended 4-day holiday for the 4th of July, so I am celebrating a little bit early with all of you. Hope you're all doing good. Anyways, so before we get going into hitting the continue button, I do want to get the preface out of the way like usual. If you're just finding this video for the first time, this is not a standard playthrough through Alan Wake where we're just playing the game. We will be pausing, we will be stopping, and going to other multimedia info stuff, including the survival guide, Alan Wake files, and comic books. And today we're going to a new location for some stuff as well. But if you're looking for just a regular run-through, I do have one already on the channel, as well as a bunch of other stuff related to the Remedyverse. Anyways, let's go ahead and see if I can get Her Majesty Queen Zoe away from the monitor for 2 seconds. But anyways, let's hit continue. Ah, boy. So what's everyone been up to? Got my thing of notes right here. And I got my pen so I can check off all my information. Well, let's get this going.
I had lost my gun in the crash. Barry was nowhere to be seen.
Barry, where did you go?
Barry! Oh, man, you're okay! Jeez, it's good to hear your voice! I was trying to get out of the car, but the ground gave way. Man, what a drop! Don't worry, your cutout is fine. Forget that! Are you okay? I hit some bushes, didn't get a scratch. There's no way you can climb down, though. It's like a sheer wall.
Okay. Are you okay down there, Barry?
Hell! There's something moving down here! Barry, it's a taken! Use a flare, Barry!
Oh, there.
Yeah! Barry, are you alright? I'm good, Al! I'm great! Guess you never messed with anyone from New York City before, huh?
Hell yeah, Barry.
You're gonna have to find your way around to the farm now! I'll be waiting! Barry, just wait for me, okay? Al, I'm not staying here! It's suicide! I'm going to the farm! I'm gonna go ahead and secure the area! You can catch up! Don't worry about it! I'm on the case!
Now he's Rambo.
Totally
This would
Rambo.
turn into a disaster if I didn't catch up with Barry.
Alrighty, so for the fun part of things, we have a bunch of additional information about this exact scene, weirdly enough. So in the novelization, they kind of explain away how Barry has access to all the flares and all the survival gear, weirdly enough. So remember, he rented the van that he rented, or the SUV he rented, came from Gunderson's, I believe. Actually, let me check, because there's two different rental companies in Bright Falls for vehicles. Let's switch over real fast. And I don't know which page it was on. Actually, right there. So we have Larson's Auto Salvage, which does rentals. We'll talk about that later. But then we also have Gunderson's. And I verified this Lincoln MKT is the one that we just were driving inside of. So we know that Barry got it from Gunderson's, not from Larson's. And if you saw my video regarding Larson's, then you know why that's a very good thing. And Barry is very, very lucky. But besides that, the novelization makes the claim that all rental vehicles in Bright Falls are equipped with flares, flare guns, and other kind of survival gear, solely because they presume that tourists are... No, cats, get off the keyboard. They presume that tourists are going to get lost in the woods while driving, so they leave them with survival gear. Oh, cat, what are you doing? What are you doing? Sorry about that. She literally just knocked my microphone over. Freaking weirdo. Anyways, also in the novel, Barry decides to give himself a nickname, which we are going to start coining this and making a hashtag out of it. It's Barry Wheeler the Taken Killer. Just for the fun of it. Let's do it. Also, while down there, Barry does come across a truck. And inside the truck, he finds a photo of a man and his son inside. And the kid's wearing a Seahawks jersey. And the implication is that the man himself is one of the taken that Barry ended up just killing. Unfortunately. Like, the novel and the survival guide really try to add... They try to really hammer home that the Taken we're fighting were at one point real people. And not just random demons that we're fighting, which is really kind of... we gotta remember on occasion. Also, during the survival guide, Alan comments that even though he doesn't have ammo right now on him, he can write more ammo into the story if he ever needed some, so, you know what? He's fine. Anyways, let's get going. Do rental cars normally come with first aid and survival kits? I mean, I presume a lot of them do, right, Fu? I've only had to get rentals a few times here when my vehicle's in the shop. So I never really paid attention, though, because we don't have a lot of woods over here. That's not good. Oh, that's not good. I hate this area because I feel completely helpless. Can I go through here? I cannot go through here, and I went off the beaten path for no reason. Please don't hit me. Hey, I said please. Why did you ignore me? Run! Ow. Alright, let's see if we can burn some of these guys out. Come on. Get over here. Get over here. Into the light. Into the light, you damn poltergeists. Okay. And there's 2 down. Poltergeists. I think those things are intent, like, all this stuff is supposed to really hammer home that this was at one time an entrance into the mines, and remember, Cauldron Lake flooded inside of it, so the place is kind of haunted.
When he stopped the car at the Anderson farm, Walter felt relieved. Oblivion was close at hand. The brothers wouldn't miss a jar of moonshine or two in the booby hatch. But then he saw the man on the porch, and he knew who it was. Driving for his life and knowing it was useless, he didn't realize he was crying until he couldn't see the road for the tears.
Alright, and this is, again, an implication that Walter has been stealing and consuming the Anderson's moonshine for a while now, which may make him a little bit more receptive to certain things. Come on, where are you at? Where are you at? There it is. Come on, get over here. Get over here. Let's try to burn that up before we run out. I do not see it anywhere. Okay, let's see if we can kite it around. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. I hate how the geometry is here messing me up when I don't want it to be here. Okay, that should do. Beautiful. I know there's something below me, but I'm not going to care. Let's go get some thermos and get some more thermos lore. Oh, Jesus, nope. They do not want me to get the thermos lore. Jesus. Moonshine makes gods of some men and makes others monsters. I mean, wouldn't surprise me. Come on, where are you at? Where are you at? Come on, you barrel. Get over here. I guess the barrels are trying to get some revenge. I'm playing DK64 at the moment, and I'm pretty sure they're pissed at me. That refrigerator's not coming on top of that bridge. Let's just go. Boom. Thermos. Pause. Let's go read it before we get attacked again. Alrighty, so this thermos is going to be on page 149. There we go. Okay, the old mine outside the Whack Job's farm is a mecca for walkers, and also vandals, it seems. When forensics checked the area, the dogs found the scent of the thermos on or around a small crate atop the cart platform. Okay, not really much of anything, but it confirms they do have K9 units here. Okay. Okay, let's just try to get away from this area because for some reason the poltergeists are not working with us. But that fridge is possessed by the former. Run! Oh, crap. Just go, just go, just go. Flashlight's right around the corner. Alright, we're good. Kind of.
Shadows crawled over the gate. I needed a light to destroy them to get through.
So we got a manuscript and a generator. Let's do this. Hey, what's up, Draco? Doing good. My last day of the week.
Agent Nightingale stared at the passed out rider. The man was sleeping off one hell of a night. Nightingale felt a stab of envy at Wake's oblivion, but he had a job to do. He put the gun to Wake's head and almost became a murderer. His hand shook and his throat felt tight and dry. Biting his teeth, he tried again to pull the trigger. He lost the nerve. Wake stirred. Nightingale would have to settle for an arrest.
Mm-hmm. Foreshadowing for one, and when push came to shove, he did not go off the deep end here. He could have very, very easily, though. Alright, so according to the survival guide, Alan thinks that these lights right here were intentionally set up by the Andersons to act as booby traps for if any Taken or any dark forces decided to come this way. At least that's his opinion.
I could sense the movement in the woods ahead. Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous, but I had no choice.
Okay, at least we have light. We're good. But honestly, I would not put it past the Andersons to pull stuff like that. Okay, we gotta run. We gotta run. We still got no guns. Let's see if that's enough. Oh, shit. Fingers crossed. Go. I'm not gonna get it. Yeah, I'm not gonna get it. That was stupid. Oh my god. What are you doing? I'm literally stun locked right now. And run. You got this. Okay, we're good. You bet Odin knew Alan was coming. Maybe not the exact date since they left the song set for him to find. We don't know how long that tune has been sitting there, to be honest.
A car was driving away from the farm, headed in the same general direction as I was. For all I knew, it was Barry, caught in the consequences of leaping before looking.
Nope. That is Walt Snyder right there. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and grab a better flashlight. Grab a better flashlight. There we go. Alrighty, so this campsite here is another one of those scenarios where Alan wrote that there was a full thing of food left here, and the campers just went off into the woods and vanished. So they probably became some of the Taken we just saw. But as a result of leaving a full plate of food here, he manages to get some noms on. Okay, thermos lore. I don't think he needs to drink the beer, let's be honest. He's drinking coffee. He needs uppers, not downers. Now, this is a strange one. The tents are intact, the lantern's still here, and most importantly, there's a six-pack of beer at the site, untouched. Where in the proverbial blank did the campers go? While we're not publicly saying anything, Cooper reckons it wasn't a group of merry pranksters putting these coffee thermoses out and about, but one individual. But how is that possible? Okay, so we got you. Let's get going. Yeah, in the survival guide, there's Ichiro. It's described that there was a full thing of food here. Of course, in the game, you don't see it. You only see the beer, but whatever.
The car was heading for the cabin up ahead. It wasn't far. If it was Barry, I would see the damage soon.
It wasn't Barry. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real. You'd have to imagine Alan has eaten at some point in these past 7 days. So he literally keeps writing himself random things to keep him sustained.
I'm trying to deliver each page to the right time and place. I'm trying to show you how the story goes.
I had seen glimpses of the light before. I had seen it in my dream. It was a strange spaceman or a diver in a bulky suit. He was the one who'd been placing the pages on my path. The dark presence followed the choreography laid out to it in the manuscript, growing stronger and stronger, moving like a storm from one scene of destruction to the next. But it was still bound to follow the story and chained to the dark place it came from. When the story reached the end it longed for, it would finally be free.
Okay. And that further just kind of shows off the idea that the Dark Presence really didn't know what Alan was doing and it doesn't understand art in general. Alright, we got some bear traps here. And then, as a result of the bear traps, we find a location, some old ruins that may be a hideout for where these poachers were hanging out at. Because as soon as we get past that, we find these ancient ruins. And we finally got some weapons.
Gun behind. Now I had a fighting chance of reaching the farm.
The Taken are filled with darkness. But yeah, so this place is being used by poachers, at least in this region. And again, that also may be some of the Taken that we witness.
The storm raged on as the Anderson brothers walked unsteadily away from the clinic with the other patients in tow, knowing that this time they wouldn't return. The darkness around them seethed with horrors, but Tor and Odin were unafraid. Their eyes glinted with guile. They knew every secret path, and there was blood on their hands. They had fought these shades before.
I love this one, because it really just hammers home that these two old coots, when they're on script, are badass. At least when they're being possessed by gods. We saw what happened last stream when they go off script and they just turn into two old coots with dementia. Alright, time for some more Thermos lore. And this is on page 151, so it's the very next section. Okay. Wake mentions something about daubed signs, D-A-U-B-D? Anyways, some daubed signs showing him hidden caches or giving him clues. We've had the infrared camera, black lights, and even tried candles. Nothing. These messages don't show up. They don't even exist, according to our field team. I wish I could say the same about these damned thermoses. This one was cooling on the window of the ruin near Walter's cabin. And again, no one can see the yellow paint unless they've been touched by darkness, which these people have not. Okay. So let's head on out of here. We probably have already taken out, or very shortly going to be taking out those poachers. Daub means to smear a substance. Okay, thanks, Maroma. That is not in my lexicon, but I will add it. Let's see if we can just skip killing these guys. There's a light's only right there. It's not too far. Where are we? And I'm already out. Come on. You can make it. Save the ammo. Save the ammo. Oh, Jesus. Make it. Okay, we're good. Hey, don't you start with that music around me.
I could see the car, but there was no sight of the driver.
Alrighty, and here we are. Walt Snyder's cabin. Oh, and by the way, before we head inside, apparently in the survival guide at least, they make the claim that Walt Snyder was actually being seen by Dr. Hartman, and that he was diagnosed with a paranoid tendencies, I should say. And according to some other characters, he was an alcoholic that gave up the habit, got clean, and recently got back into the bottle.
Hello? Anybody here? Barry!
No! Danny, you're not! Please! What are you? No! Don't! I'm sorry!
Long pause there, buddy.
I know you. You were in jail the other day.
I went to the farm again for the moonshine, you know? It makes you see. They're not gonna miss it. They're in the loony bin. My buddy, Danny, I lost him. Something's gone wrong with him. It's not him. Like a real bad follow-up to a real good movie. The best friend's suddenly the bad guy. Who wrote this crap anyway?
Sorry about that. Well, as soon as the story decides to make us feel guilty for this, because let's also keep in mind, the campsite we were just at, did Alan write that campsite solely to give himself a sandwich, knowing that the campers were then going to be taken? So, in order to get a meal, he allowed a few people to get killed? Or I should say the Dark Presence permitted this. Anyway, so now that we feel guilty, let's go ahead and do this.
I've run through every possible course in my head. If I continue like the Dark Presence wants me to, the story I'm writing won't save Alice. It's a horror story, and it's going to kill her, and me, and everybody in this town. No one will survive. Darkness will consume everything. This is what it's wanted all along. It will be free, unstoppable. It used Alice to get to me, dangled her in front of me to keep me going. It was never going to release her. I'm going to change this. I'll escape. I've written myself into the story. I'm now the protagonist. This feels like a terrible risk, but it's the only way to save Alice. I'll be bound by the events of the story just as much as anyone else who's been woven into it. The story must stay true for this to work. There have to be victims along the way, near escapes, cliffhangers. In a horror story, it can't be certain that the hero will succeed or even survive. He almost has to die. I'll write my own escape into the story next. I need help. Zane's going to be the one who will help me. I'll make it happen.
Alright, this one right here maybe one of the most important Rider in the Cabin episodes. So, one, it immediately answers the question, okay, Alan's willing to do this to these characters, but then immediately saying, you know what, he is willing to do that to himself as well. Granted, we also have in terms of the moral aspect, remember, he's under the influence of the dark presence, he didn't know this would actually happen, so we at least have to give I wouldn't say a complete pass, but he had no clue this would actually harm people. But once he got that clue, he decided he's going to put himself in risk. Which, at the very least, is something that he can do. But one thing that I keep coming back to with this one is that he is stating here, I am going to now write myself into the story to become its protagonist. Meaning that everything he wrote up to this point had a different main character. It was somebody else. And then he retroactively added himself in as the protagonist. Now, I don't know if that means he had to literally go back to previous manuscript pages and then rewrite the story, or if everything up to this point, at least up to that point in the narrative, was a different character and Alan was just playing the role. Kind of like in Alan Wake 2 when he's in Initiation. He's technically playing as Alex Casey, but we see him, the one walking through that, we see he himself in the role of playing Alex Casey. And then from here on forward, he's playing as himself. One of my hypotheses of Vermim is that up until this point, the main character was named Thomas Zane. That's at least one thought I have had. I have a full video on it. And that may be why there was some mistakes with his name. Because up until he wrote himself into the story, hey, it was like one character who had the same basic backstory, and then boom, now we're playing as Alan. But that's just a tinfoil hat theory. Trailblazer, I did want to comment to that. I do actually have about 20 pages of Evil Within script written. I just never finished it. I started that script like 3 years ago. I just never sat down and did it. Unless they... The thing is it's kind of difficult to say who wrote who, or if it's even relevant to have that question. I mean, where am I? Where's the door? Where's the door? Where's the door? I don't know why I literally just got lost in there. But their stories are so similar in terms of everything that it literally would not surprise me. Now again, I'm not saying that is what happened, I'm just saying that's a possibility. Let's be 100% honest. The comment there about him saying, I am now becoming the protagonist, implies a different protagonist was there before. Now, what that means, we can do with what we will. Don't worry, guys, I'm not going to forget the thermos. I just didn't want to interrupt the Walter scene by doing this. Okay. Okay, thermos, page 152. This is the biggest manhunt since D.B. Cooper fell out of the plane in the 1960s. Okay, so D.B. Cooper was a real guy, and... Oh God, what was his story? Zoe, can I steal it? Thank you. She was sleeping on my cell phone, so I had to go steal it from her real quick. I think he was like a plane hijacker or something. Yeah, he like robbed banks. His best known was an alias and an unidentified man who hijacked Northwestern Orient Airlines. Yeah, so he was like a bank robber who hijacked a plane. Anyways, no relation to our special agent. We've got we got Snyder half gouged out upstairs, dozens of missing huntsmen and campers, and for once, Cat, what did you just do? Stop stepping on things. And for once, Wake isn't a suspect. Some guy called Danny was apparently responsible, although we can't find him either. Sometimes I'm glad I'm on thermos duty. But yeah, in Initiation, there's the scene where Casey dies and Alan picks up his gun. He literally says, I am now assuming the role of Casey by accepting this gun, or at least I'm paraphrasing. So even though we have Alan as the actor, he could be playing a different role.
I could climb out through the broken window.
Or we can just make the argument that... No, we can't, because the characters refer to him in different ways.
I'd need a car to get there fast.
Because they do refer to him as... Everyone else calls him Alan throughout the entire story. So that's a contradiction.
For a moment, Hartman considered strangling the idiot. Mott was mean-spirited, but easily manipulated. An emotional infant who lived for his approval. Wake, by contrast, was a far more difficult subject. Mott had given him too much leash. In 2 days, who knew what could happen? Hartman would have to find a way to rein him in, and quickly.
Okay, thank you, Abraham. So he robbed a bank at gunpoint, then parachuted away and was never seen again. You know what? That's dedication. So the funny little thing here, I don't know which... Let me see. In the survival guide, Alan jokes that looking at the cellar doors and going down into it reminds him of Evil Dead. Which, you know, completely fair. Looks like they were going ahead and bleeding out a stag here. Okay. Alright, we got this. So we have our hidden cache. Let's go see what Cynthia has for us. Where are we? There we go. Someday, perhaps, the inner light will shine forth from us, and then we'll need no other light. Johann Wolfgang van Goethe, the German writer and polymath. It is hoped that the light brightens your path even in the darkest of places, such as the root cellar under Walter Snyder's cabin. Okay. Zoe, I need to be able to see the screen. Okay. Zoe. Zoe. Alright, fun little Easter egg since we're grabbing Walter's pickup. This pickup eventually does get taken in by Larson's Auto Salvage.
If Barry wasn't up here, he was probably in trouble down at the farm. For a moment, I felt bad for doubting him. After all, I'd made it this far myself. But Barry was Barry.
Okay, I literally cannot see the truck right now because the cat is licking herself right in front of me. I can't even see Alan, I'm just being guided around by the rest of the map. Okay, thermos. Okay, which one is this? Page 153. Okay. Another thermos is sitting next to a rusting pile of farm machinery on Anderson's blasted heath. That'll give head office more evidence that the old rockers are the culprits for this elaborate littering Easter egg hunt. As for that incident up near the mountain ruins, trick of the light, I reckon. He's referring to when he saw himself turning see-through. When he became transparent. And honestly, I do not think that the Andersons were leaving this all over the place. I mean, in the middle of the woods, the boys would break a hip, let's be real. Yeah, he keeps changing who the culprit is. He has no clue. And it's getting less and less unlikely. But Agent Cooper, based out of Seattle, thinks that it's one person doing it all, not a series of people. Okay, hopefully nothing spawns right now. Just as I say that. Okay, I literally cannot see anybody on screen, Cat. Okay, I can't see anything! I'm trying my best to play with half the screen obscured. Oh, Jesus, he's doing it again. Oh, lordy lord. I'm working off of audio right now. The Zoe mode is also known as Dean Must Die mode. Yes. Yes. She does not want me to succeed right now. Alright. So this is on page 153, so it's on the same page, apparently. Oh, wait, no, this is the one I just picked up. The one previously was, the coffee thermos wouldn't have been driving. Wait, what? The coffee thermos whodunit is driving head office crazy, who, in turn, are driving me nuts. They want to know whether the Anderson brothers are to blame. There are two of them. It seems like they can escape Hartman at will, and they're mad as bicycles. Perhaps they hid the thermos at the rusting tractor along the trail road from Snyder's cabin. Okay, I'm gonna have to pick her up and shift her at least. Oh, crap. Let me at least get to the car. Because then I can take him out this way. Okay. There we go. Goodbye. I'm trying not to destroy Walter's truck, but you guys are making it really difficult. And time for the double tap. Okay, Zoe. I am sorry, sweetheart, but you will have to shift your patootie. Come on. Oh, there you go. You can hang out right here. Just not in front of the monitor. Alright. Yeah, so if the vehicles take too much damage, they will eventually become non-usable, and the engine will just give out. And another cache. Beautiful. Okay, so this one's going to be page 154. As the transcendentalist Ralph Waldo Emerson would say, a man should learn to detect and watch that gleam of light which flashes across his mind from within. The empty cabin on the road to the ranger station holds the key to brightening your day. Alright, I don't know who owns this cabin, to be honest. Oh. Sorry, my pen fell off the table. I do not know who owns this little small place. It's arguable it's still on the Andersons' lot, so it might be one of their little, like, outbuildings or something, but I haven't seen any information in any of the sources to suggest anything past that. Let's go ahead and switch. Oh, interesting little thing about that door. Apparently, when he's breaking it down in the survival guide, they mentioned that Alan actually learned some breaching tactics from when he was doing research on one of his books from a SWAT team. See, my opinion about having too much land would be if I cannot physically maintain it myself, it's too much land. Same thing with the house. If the house is so big you can't maintain it,
Well, as I'm sure everyone's noticed, that storm we all felt coming is finally here. The boys at the Weather Service reckon it'll last until morning at the very least. Pertaining to that, let me read that missing persons alert again. The Sheriff's Department's still looking for a Caucasian woman, 30 years old, slim and blonde with blue eyes. She may be lost in the woods, and it's possible she's been injured in a car accident. If you see her, please make sure you get her indoors and call the sheriff. It's bad weather to be caught out in, so if you see someone in the area who maybe looks a little confused, give them a hand, all right? This is Pat Maine on KBF-FM, hoping you're all safe and warm tonight.
Hey, appreciate it, Pat. So he's putting out a thing for... Yeah, it's for Alice. He's putting out... Remember, I mentioned earlier that Pat and Rose were both using their position to try to help. Now, this tune is called Backbone by the Rumble Strips. And honestly, I'm going to have to revisit the lyrics, because other than the simple title of Backbone, meaning courage, in terms of its relation to courage, I couldn't really pick apart the lyrics too much. But then again, I'm terrible at poetry. Actually, while we are up here, let's go ahead and read some stuff before we head down into the field. What about the lady from Bright Falls? I mean, yeah, it could be Ellen Adams too, but personally, it's far more likely they're referring to Alice, one, because it's consolidated to the game itself, so we have her as a missing person. The reference to her possibly being in a car crash is because Alan was in a car crash as well, so I think it's more likely. But anyways, let's get going. Okay, if you want, we can check the map real quick. The only trouble is we really can't check the map because there's nowhere on here that shows where the Anderson farm is. So, I have no clue. It could be anywhere. Okay, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and read one of Nightingale's handwritten notes. It's going to be Night 4. Not the afternoon. We already did that. Okay, Day 4, Night. This is the last of the notes. Hartman seems to be the big man on campus. Very protective of his patients. Skimmed through his self-help book. What a load. He's got a sweet little racket going on at the lodge. Gut tells me he's involved in all this somehow. Going for a drive. Can't think in here. Am I going down like Finn? Not if I shoot first. Sounds are getting weirder all the time. Something happening just out of town. Out by some farm. Flashes of light, too. Could be kids with firecrackers, getting edgy and starting a barn fire. Probably ought to get some batteries for the stupid flashlight if there's time. Will I have it in me to do what's necessary when the time comes? So he's referring to the concert we're about to address, but yeah, this is the last one. He's trying to amp himself up, wondering if he'd actually become a murderer or not. Okay, and then on top of that, we do have another manuscript page I want to read. Let's see if I can find the right one. So that's the Maggie one, that's the scientist, that's the tourist. This is the lady who got taken inside of her cabin. I think it's... Yeah, it's this one right here. Okay, Zoe. Yep, you're back. Bill rocked on the porch of his cabin as the last of the light faded, listening to his stomach growl. When his little brother disappeared 26 years ago, at least Bill got dinner. Oh, sure, folks had traded tales of screams in the night, and nothing but a smear of blood left behind, and poor Timmy this and poor Timmy that. But Bill had insisted the brat must have gotten lost or fallen down a well. Tim was always careless, always sticking his nose in places it didn't belong. Clara was the same way, Bill's wife. Clara never liked the cabin, always worried about being so far from the other folks, always seeing things in the trees, always asking him dumb questions. Now Clara had disappeared too, snatched away an hour ago, leaving a pan of meatloaf fixings on the table. The night deepened, but Bill maintained the same unhurried rocking. He liked the gathering darkness, the way the shadows piled up on each other. All these years and he never missed his little brother, and he wouldn't miss Clara either. He would miss her meatloaf, though. Yeah, he seems like a real catch. Bill's a dick. No, this was going on for 26 years. So if that's 26 years prior to now, that would have been what? 1984? If my math is correct, yeah, 1984. No, no, don't do it, no. Make me waste one of my flares, you jerk. Alright, let's get on down there. No, jeez. Oh, okay. Alan, you're drunk. Did someone slip some whiskey into that coffee? He's drinking Irish coffee. Oh, you see the face in that smoke just now? I don't think I've ever noticed that. You gave him your family blend. Ooh, nice. We're about to get out of the vehicle, so I don't mind braking a little bit. And let's backtrack and double tap that boy. Good enough. I'm never going to see that vehicle anymore. Larson can have it. I'm just gonna hang out right here. Bro, I'm busy here. Leave me alone. I hope the Andersons had insurance on that thing, because those things are expensive. And I literally just destroyed it. Alright, before we head to the stage, let's go check out the barn. Actually, there's a couple things I want to do over here. Cynthia is just really taking care of us right now. Okay, let's see what Cynthia has for us. This is on page 156. To attempt seeing truth without knowing falsehood, it is the attempt to see the light without knowing the darkness. It cannot be. Frank Herbert, novelist. I've taken the liberty of placing a few things in a cache for you. They're in a small barn near the rusty tractor. Hey, what's up, Bep Kororo? Hope you're doing good. So now she's referencing making Dune quotes. Stay away from your daughter? Wait, what? I swear, sir, that wasn't me. Shit! This is a case of mistaken identity, I swear. Okay. Yes, we can vouch for Alan's loyalty, for sure.
Hartman had never felt as anxious as during the week after Maud had managed to lose the Wakes. Their car stood by the path that had once led to Diver's Isle. Hartman thought about Thomas Zane's cabin in the depths. It was only a matter of time before Wake started writing. They had to be found, and fast. The moment he heard on the police radio that Sheriff Breaker had picked up Wake, he was already in his car driving toward town.
See, this is one detail that we can't overlook, because we know that Cynthia is fully aware of Zane's history, but Hartman is also has direct memories of Thomas Zane. He has knowledge of the cabin. He knows what happened a long time ago. So we can't just chalk it up to Cynthia being just nuts. Now, in American Nightmare, they do make the clarification that when a reality shift happens, aka a retcon event, the people who are directly touched by the darkness and the powers that cause the reality shift do have their memories transfer over. Now, what that directly means, we don't know. Because it can't just be anybody who's a character in the story, because we know for a fact that's not the case. Even someone like, Rose, for example, in the sequel, her memories alter immediately. So she's not immune to it, even though we know she's been directly touched by the Dark Presence. So it's kind of like, there's a rule there, but I can't really say specifically what that rule is. Okay. Let's go check some gravestones. Ruh-roh! So here's my question here. Who are these three individuals? The Andersons must have buried them on their land. But we don't know who they are. Because we know Tor's daughter Freya is out of town at this point in time. And I believe they made the comment that Odin never had children, so it's not them. But it's got to be somebody related to them. Natives? I mean, it depends on what you mean by natives. It could be other people they knew very well, but I doubt they would bury them on their farm. And I don't think it would be any like local native tribes, because you have Christian crosses used as the grave markers, which that wouldn't make sense. Maybe Balder. Okay, Balder could be a potential. Loki, I don't think so, because one, they had a very contentious relationship with him, and two, he just disappeared. They never said he died, because as far as we know, Loki's still alive. He just vanished back in the 70s. And Kibasa, the reason I say it's not a symbolic grave marker is because there's literally 3 skeletons that just came out of the ground, so somebody was buried there. What if they're just Halloween decorations? Dude. Don't take the fun out of this, bro. Symbolic skeletons.
I'd known the brothers used to be some kind of rock stars, but it hadn't really sunk in until I saw the stage.
No!
Ow! Run!
It didn't let me pick up the thermos!
Too many of them!
God damn.
It should not have just triggered. Okay, I'll
Glad you decided to go it alone.
grab the Thermos up here later, and then I'll backtrack to this stage.
Shoot! We have to fight them all! I can set off more of the fireworks from here!
Okay, we good.
Did you notice there's a lot of ammo and stuff around? Ow! Hold on! I'll try to get the stage lights on!
Trust me, you guys don't want to hear me sing, so I'm just gonna let the pros do it. Bum, 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 bum.
Yes! Here we go!
Children of the elder gods.
Hang on out! I'll get them working again, I promise!
Hey, Scoopy, we got you, buddy. I'm sorry to hear that, but you're among friends. We got you, dude. Wait, wrong verse. Shit.
Stay in the light!
Yeah, Barry, get it, boy!
No, no, no! Why do you keep doing this to me? Do it for Barry, please, please, please!
Where? I hear it. I don't see it. There we go. Barry dances exactly like I do. Let's be real. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna overkill you just because. Fuck you, bro.
Oh, am I fired? This is pretty much how I always wanted to go out!
And the old gods did write the song a very long time ago, as we will see shortly. Oh, hold on, let me get some help, Oh, did they all despawn? Shit. They despawned because I went into the light. That's my bad. Okay, we're good. Really? You just had to get that last little hit in? Shitheads. Boom! Gotta love it.
That was awesome!
Bright Falls, rock and roll capital of America.
Alright, let's get some stuff. First, we've got Thermos number 1. No. Let's skip that one. And run all the way back down to the bleachers. And grab Thermos number 2. Alright, so in the novelization, Barry claims that back in college, he actually managed a punk rock band. And he acted as a roadie throughout when they went on tour, hence why he actually knows how to use their equipment. Like, he has a rudimentary understanding of this kind of stuff just because he worked as a roadie for a punk band in college. You know what? Down. I'll accept
Hey,
it.
Al! This way to the farm!
Apparently it was one of his first, like, management gigs. Okay.
Deputy Mulligan tuned Thornton's chatter out. He didn't think riders were particularly useful people, and a huge manhunt for one stuck him as idiotic. certainly not worth the missed opportunity for coffee and pie. It wasn't even clear what the man had done, except run from them at the trailer park. Mulligan knew he wasn't alone. The sheriff's patience with the Fed was running out.
Okay. Now let's go take a look at our 2 thermos lures. Did you know you can hold the flares? Did anyone else? I only found out towards the end of the remake. Yeah, you can hold the flares. I sometimes hold them, sometimes I don't. It depends on the situation. Alright, so this is going to be on page 158 and 150. Wait, what? Oh yeah, 156 and 158. Where are you? There we go. These whack jobs built an animatronic dragon draped over stage, and that's when they were still considered sane. So they're easily capable of spreading the joy of cold coffee around the countryside. This thermos was found on the stage on top of the control panel. Not a wise placement considering the electrical currents are rather rudimentary wiring. The lost thermos of the last gods of Asgard's found. Maybe the thermos on the bleachers belongs to one of the scarecrows. It takes an extra special type of crazy to build an entire audience out of straw and pumpkin heads. Thor and Odin are to be applauded and then committed. You got a weird Alan Wake 2 question. The pages where Odin loses an eye said that the door took the wrong eye. Why was he wearing an eye patch if both eyes worked? Or am I missing something? So yeah, J-Lang, originally he was just wearing an eye patch cosmetically for the purposes of the bit. So he considered, there's a manuscript in this one where he considers cutting his own eye out, but it sounds like he never did. But the eye that he had the eye patch on, Door took the other one, which is why he was pissed. And as a result, we can actually place in time when Odin exists. So if the eye patch is on one side, we know it existed before. That was Odin in a time before 1987. Or, yeah, I think it's 87 or 88. And if it's on the other eye, we know that took place after 1988 because it's on the eye where he actually got it ripped out. So, is what it is. Now, in the Alan Wake Illuminated, apparently there was a cut piece of content where they had something very similar to this, but it was a dream stage where this was supposed to be like a dream sequence, and Alan's imagination was performing in front of a crowd, where he was literally came up with this entire fantasy scenario that was being played in front of a dream crowd. But let's go ahead and read a review of the Old Gods real quick. I think he took his door, or sorry, I think Door took Odin's eye as payment for something. You guys want to read a review of the Old Gods of Asgard? We happen to get one right here. So this is Old Gods of Asgard in the Valley of My Shadow by Mjolnir Records. That's the record label that published them. Beg, borrow, or murder your way across Bright Falls and check out the Old Gods' insane stage, complete with fire-breathing dragon. Oh, and it kind of confirmed that the lightning strike that activated the dragon did come from Thor. American occult gods forge Viking hellscapes with the hammer of Thor. The Pacific Northwest's own Old Gods of Asgard continues to dominate like marauding bands of pointy-helmeted pillagers. Turning the base up to 12, the death deity is now louder than Loki and just as incomprehensible. But tear off the skin and gnaw away the muscles, and you're left with a well-crafted, even somber song skeleton, as the wistful lyrics on The Poet and the Muse attest to. These rock outlaws lay down the hammering riffs with skull-crunching brutality, loading out the bottom end with like a few others can, kicking a colossal amount of arse. This won't be for everyone's cup of blood, but it's an album certain to take you to all the to all the dark places lurking in the doomed part of your brain. Interesting turn of phrase. To take you to all the dark places lurking in the doomed part of your brain. Highly recommended. Best tracks: Children of the Elder God, Poet and the Muse. Kindred Spirits. So these are other bands that are similar to them. The Grunt Thumpers, Angel of Delirium, Baba Yaga's Hut, Poets of the Fall, obviously, and Dark Tornado. So they flat out say these are other bands in lore that are similar to them. Yes, Baba Yaga's Hut. Which, frankly, is a very odd name for a band, but whatever. What is the band from Quantum Break? They're called Stormcrow, and they're a tribute band for the old gods. Hey, River, how you doing? Welcome on in. Yes, like the cabin on the Lake Ichiro.
See, bestseller? No reason to worry. Your cutout's good as new, right where I left it. I'll come back for it once we have the place secured.
Yeah, that's been my biggest worry all this time.
Trust me, we know. Yes, Dr. Spooky, Baba Yaga is a witch. It's not necessarily Brothers Grimm or nursery rhymes, it's just Scandinavian folklore. Assuming you mean Stormcrow, not My Bleeding Clock. Yeah, My Bleeding Clock, weirdly enough, is referenced in Control. They do make a direct reference to that.
As the deputies hauled Wake and Wheeler away, Agent Nightingale eagerly examined the stack of papers Wake had been carrying. It was incomplete, a collection of random pages, but there was enough. He saw his own name in there, among others. His hand shook with emotion. Finally, it was proof. He had been right all along.
Mm-hmm. One second, sorry. I'm just checking something real fast. Alright, sorry, I was getting a text message just there. But yeah, My Bleeding Clock is mentioned by Langston. I think it was during the AWE DLC, which would imply that the band that Jack Joyce was a part of was also part of the Prime Universe.
Hey, I think Alan Wake here has something to say. What's that, Al?
Ooh, I'm Alan Wake. I'm always right about everything. And if I don't get my way, I'll sulk all day long. I'm always intense and moody. It makes me very attractive and mysterious. Right now, I'm just standing here because I need my best friend Barry to carry me. But that's okay. I can just take him for granted.
I think I see what you did there.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You want me to do my imitation of Barry Wheeler? No? Thought so.
Alright, buddy. That was awesome. Alright, guys, so I'm going to leave it up to you all what you want me to do here. Because I do have a note to, at this point, before we go inside, to discuss Errand Boy. Now, Errand Boy is one of Alan's first published stories. Let's head on over here. Dr. Emil Hartman, I think it's a little further down. Dark Visions magazine. So, Alan Wake's first published story, Errand Boy, a long out-of-print horror tale, was written when Wake was only 18 and previously available only in dog-eared copies of Dark Visions magazine. Clearly, Wake was concerned with the same battle between good and evil that he would explore in his more popular crime fiction. Alright, so Do Demons Walk Among Us, the postmortem photography Beyond the Veil of Death, and a tribute to Clive Barker. So you know what? Clive Barker is canon to this universe. They also have stories by Eli Bowman, Karen Lamb, R. Egger, Vivian Atlas, and Daniel Roth. I think some of these might be, at least someone has a similar name, but I'm pretty sure these are supposed to be all fictional within the context. Alright, the only reason I'm not sure about playing the entire video is because I don't want to accidentally copyright myself. And if you guys think that's stupid, no joke, I initially was going to make a secondary channel attached to my account where I upload all the streams, so I keep all the streams separate. And as I was literally copying my streams over there and uploading them, YouTube copyright struck my own content saying I was stealing it and then banned the account. They literally destroyed the account by uploading my own content. Post the link in the description. I probably could do that. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. What's the timestamp right now? 1:17? Let me see if I can find the video real quick. Because I'll go over it in brief right now, but if you want to listen to a fully voice acted, where I'm doing the narration for, like, the, like this part right here, where Aunt Hannah, the woman who blah, 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 blah. But any of the characters speaking, I do have voice actors working on the whole thing, so the whole thing's fully voiced. Which I think is fun. But let me see if I can find the video real quick. Errand boy. So let's just start by posting the link here. If anyone wants to see it, it will be in chat, but I will also add it into the description after the fact. Yeah, Eli Roth is a name I recognize, just the other ones I don't, to be 100% honest. So this is at 1:18:35. Let me grab a piece of paper real quick. Errand boy. Okay, so if anyone watching this, if you want to listen to the whole thing, pause the video, go to the link in the description. I will also create a title card right here in the top right corner, and you can listen to the entire thing. The video also includes a analysis of the story, but just in brief, the whole point of Errand Boy, it's supposed to show off that Alan basically has daddy issues. That's one of the things. And one thing that's consistent in his writings is he tries to find a reason why the main character does not have a father, but there's a good reason behind it. Almost like he's trying to create a fantasy in his head about why his own father, Alan's own father, left him. But the plot is basically deals with a group of 19th century slavers who was cursed by one of the chiefs of the people that they kidnapped to transport over to the United States. And they settled in a place on the East Coast in a town called Plunder. And they're basically cursed to be immortal cannibals. And only one of the characters, the men, was actually permitted to leave the town, which was Willem Carey, because he did not participate in any of the insanity. But he was still, again, an immortal cannibal, but he was allowed to leave the town. So what he would do, literally, is go out into the world, pick up some people, usually women, and bring them back into the town so that they could cannibalize them. And that's how they remained living throughout the centuries. And he lived within a lighthouse. At the base of the lighthouse in the water is all the vehicles of the people that he ended up bringing back, and the rest of them killed. Now, there was one woman that Willem Carey met that he decided not to bring her back, and he actually had a child with her named Daniel. And after her death, Willem invites him to Plunder. He shows up. The intention was that they would cannibalize Daniel, and Willem couldn't go through with it and stayed behind and allowed himself to be killed by the rest of the townspeople while Daniel escaped. That's the basic idea behind the whole story. But again, it gets into the whole thing with Alan's neuroses, where he's trying to say, oh, well, my dad didn't leave me. There is a supernatural reason why my daddy couldn't be with me and why he had to leave me behind. That's as simple as I could put it, but if you want to listen to the whole thing again, I'll have it in the description. I'll have a title card. It's just I don't want to accidentally get my own video copyrighted. Which is stupid, but YouTube's dumb like that.
went all out with this Viking crap, didn't they? Look at all this stuff. They must have done okay for themselves, so how come I never heard of these guys before?
And this from the guy who learned about Ozzy Osbourne through reality TV?
Called out.
Sleep. We all spend a third of our dreams in its soft embrace, somewhere between fantasy and
Hey,
oblivion.
remember when I got you that gig?
But
Your
dreams
first
have a way
real
of
writing
forcing
job. What got
themselves
you
into
started?
waking life.
Was this one of your
Vice
episodes?
versa. In Night Springs. Tonight's episode, The Dream of Dreams.
That's by someone else.
We join Mr. Jones as he explores the endless dreamscape, only to be brought to a sudden stop by a decidedly mundane situation. A long line of people.
Hey, Jones, right? Listen, we're gonna have to wait until his highness over there is good and ready. Oh, wow. Who's that? You don't know him? What are you, new? He's the guy dreaming us. Well, not just us. He dreams everything. All of this.
But wait, no. I'm the one who's dreaming. I'm asleep. Isn't this my dream?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Get real, pal. You're just another dream. I'm a dream. You're a dream. The weirdo in the diving suit is a dream. And the girl made of smiles and sunshine is definitely a dream.
But I'm pretty sure I'm dreaming this.
Well, maybe you're a really confused dream. What am I, a shrink? All I know is I'm going with the smart guys, and they say that's the guy doing the dreaming. Right there.
I don't know what that means.
It means we keep him happy. No sudden falls. We make sure he has his clothes on when he goes out in public. No chases where the monster is nipping at his heels and he runs like crazy, but his legs don't seem to get him anywhere. None of that. Because if he wakes up in a cold sweat...
Oh.
Yeah, precisely. So we wait till he wants to move on. Keep things nice and calm.
Hey, something's happening here.
Yeah? What's that?
What? Can't you hear that?
Oh, God help us, it's an alarm clock. Oh, it's you, isn't it? Please, man, I got a wife and kids. Please don't wait.
A diver, you say? Yeah, that's probably as close as we get to, like, dark place imagery there. And then we also have the Great Dreamer, the Blind Idiot God. We're gonna get more into Lovecraft stuff. Okay, Thormos, let's go. Okay, so where were we? Page 159. There he is. I'm about to blow my own mind. Back at head office, Cooper had the idea that these coffee thermoses, including this one on the table by the resting car in the big barn, are recognizable objects that Wake is using as a kind of guidance tool to steer him through his own adventure. If that's the case, then who am I? I don't know, FBI thermos guy. Who are you? What do you guys think? Who is he? How is the FBI agent finding thermoses? Didn't Alan collect them? Well, not only that, Tony, but he also found them 3 years ago in Alan's apartment. And also, he found some inside the cabin when the cabin doesn't exist anymore. It has already retreated back into the lake, so by the time the FBI agent showed up, there's no island on the lake, so how did he get inside?
It's 1976. Madness reigns at the Anderson farm. Contrary to all logic, the headiest ingredient of their moonshine is unfiltered water from Cauldron Lake. The Andersons feel like gods. Odin can't stop laughing. He contemplates cutting his eye out. Tor runs across the field, naked, shrieking, hammer in his hand, trying to catch lightning. Their songs have power. Something ancient is stirring in the depths, coming back.
So, Raifu, Night Springs, you could argue it's his own entity. I mean, we just saw a Night Springs episode in the Lodge that implies that while Night Springs is a town, it is also can be considered its own eldritch entity of its own. That when this entity overtakes a town, it becomes Night Springs. And that's kind of what it was implying when that entity was writing its name on the underpass. He was literally claiming it as his own. Now, what we see in American Nightmare is an instance where Night Springs overtakes and kind of... I don't want to use the term overlap, because that implies a pocket dimension. But it can override areas. Now, I consider a Night Springs event kind of like a certain type of AWE, where the story from one of the episodes literally starts happening in real life. It overtakes a certain region, and in that moment, over the course of the AWE event, that town is no longer its original town, it is now Night Springs, and as soon as the story is over, it ceases to be Night Springs, and the AWE ends. Now, we don't know how much the FBC responds to Night Springs events, because most likely they don't perceive it that way. They just perceive it as, hey, there's an AWE going on, or they're completely unaware it's even happening.
Looked imposing, almost like a battering ram.
Yeah, well, Tony, like an overlap is a pocket dimension. That's when you have two different areas that have the same narrative, and they create a dimension that's within the overlap between the two. But these are more, at least I consider them more like AWEs. Alright, the 1975 Ragnarok Tour. This is, I want to say this is probably their last tour before they retired. Oh, I think Bob died right after this. Be Awed, AWE, by Celestial Wrath and Fury. We got Seattle, Bakersfield, Long Beach, New York, Newark, Detroit, Jacksonville, Tampa, New Orleans, and Baton Rouge. The only reason, Ichiro, I would say that Night Springs is not more of a... I mean, it's really subjective, I'll be 100% honest. Because I still firmly hold that the Night Springs events happen in reality, but they happen in a altered version of reality that only lasts the duration of the episode. And then they just retreat and things get left behind. Kind of like you have the tide bringing in the log, and the log is Night Springs, and the tide takes the log back out into the ocean once it's done. I mean, you could argue the events of this House of Dreams is a Night Springs event, because remember, Samantha Wells was watching an episode of Night Springs that dealt with a woman who bought a haunted house in a town of Ordinary, which is exactly where she was when that event happened. She even comments on how it seems like someone's pranking her by having a TV show retelling the events that she's currently experiencing. Okay. So, we're good there. Let's get going. Stop it, stop it, stop it. By the way, Bright Falls supplement from Control confirms Odin removed his own eye. Or at least lost it by 1976. I'll double check when we get to Control. Actually, I probably should double check before I write the script, but I'll definitely do that. I appreciate it, Marama. Are you gonna stop running around? There we go. Now, I don't think all AWEs are Night Springs events, but some of them are, in my opinion. Yeah, it feels like it's a temporary replacement. Oh, looks like we got some beer can pyramids. Let's go check and see what Mott was up to over here at the Anderson farm. And that is on page 161. There we go. What Mr. H wants, Mr. H gets. He thinks Wake knows about Tom. If he ever gets to the Anderson farm, he'll know I got here first. I wonder if I hid this too well. It's on the spool at the back base of the silo in the back, the barn back lot. I mean, he really just has self-confidence issues. Is there a way to own American Nightmare physically besides the PC version? It's on the Xbox 360 store. That's where I originally played it. Yeah, Mott's just being petty, saying like, haha, here first Wake, that means I'm better than you. Yes, and yes, Marama, we have another one of the red wingback chair. I guess the elbow was here at one point. But yeah, there was no physical copy of American Nightmare. Breaks right, it was on the Xbox Live Arcade. No, Tony, it was not part of the remaster. They did not remaster that game.
Wow! Those geezers had quite a production going on. Ooh, you know what, Al? If we make it through this alive, I'm gonna start representing them. Yep, sell this stuff online, maybe get a reality show going, release a new single.
Good luck with that, pal.
Hey, you find us a way out of here, okay? I'm gonna take a closer look at this stuff.
Alrighty, so let's head on up. You enjoy there, Barry.
Be careful, Al!
It's okay. There's just dust and mold and spores up here. You ever notice that Barry's allergies kind of just stopped plaguing him as soon as we got out of the Elderwood?
Open, okay?
Alright, let's get some thermos lore. Kaboom. Where were we? Page 162. There we go. Still reeling from Cooper's latest hypothesis, I found evidence of another coffee thermos on a shelf 2 floors up in the silo barn garage, and took a snapshot to prove it. But according to head office, the dwarf told him this was placed by Wake himself. Apparently, Wake's fleshing out some kind of horror novel as he goes, but I'm seeing these objects too. I need to take a rest. The dwarf? I mean, we were talking about the red chair just a second ago. And remember, there was a Thermos excerpt earlier that says the red chair was his favorite chair. I told you this was the real Cooper. At the very least, it's an echo of the real Cooper, but the fact that they say the dwarf told him this was placed by Wake, and the FBI agent here immediately just believes whatever the dwarf says, tells you a lot about their opinion of this quote-unquote dwarf. Yes, it's the arm reference. Whoa, did I get muted again for some reason? Did I get muted? I need to change my hotkey for my mute button, I swear. I freaking swear. Every time I type the M button, it mutes me. So, that's my bad.
As you regular listeners know, I tend to work through the night, but I'm not the only one. Deputies Mulligan and Thornton are taking a couple of moments off their busy schedule to join me here in the studio. Boys, how busy are you now? Deerfest is almost here, isn't it? I bet that keeps you in business.
Pretty busy, yeah.
Actually, Pat, we've been real busy with other stuff, which concerns an ongoing investigation. We can't talk about that, Thornton. I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just saying we got, other irons.
See, they know what's going on.
And how would you compare your workload to last year's? Things have seemed relatively peaceful to me, but people do tend to get a little wild this time of year.
Oh, it's wild, Pat. It's pretty wild. There's been all sorts of trouble this year. Vandalism, fighting, public disturbances. A lot of people gone missing, too.
Yeah, it's pretty much the usual stuff, Pat. Just, a lot more of it.
Now, is it just me, or does Deerfest get wilder every year? People seem to be more drunk, at least, or they start earlier and younger.
Oh, it's definitely not just you, Pat, but...
Definitely, Pat.
Hey, I'm talking here, Thornton. Oh, shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Not just me.
Oh, yeah, it's wilder, Pat, but actually most of the trouble seems to be coming from grown men. People who ought to know better, Kids are doing fine this year.
Well, that's nice to hear at least. Boys, I want to thank you for stopping by. I'll let you get back to your patrol.
Sure thing, Pat.
Yeah, sure thing, Pat.
Alright, yeah, so what I was saying is I find it interesting that the dwarf claims that Alan is the one who placed these thermoses on the path, which makes perfect sense because he is the one fabricating the sights and sounds and events. But the FBI agent is very much in the right to question why he is seeing the things that were made solely for Alan's benefit. Also, this tune is called Young Dead Men by the Black Angels, and it's, lyrics-wise, it's essentially a call to arms in times of strife and to not let fear stop you, which would kind of piggyback alongside the Backbone tune we saw earlier in the Ranger Tower. Pick up your feet and let's go. You've seen them live, Spooky Electric? Dude, that's awesome.
I could see the building.
How? You said the show's amazing?
The other side of the field. It wasn't far now. I wasn't worried about trusting the ramblings of two burned-out geriatric wrecks. They had the goods.
You want me to go to the right of the house when you get there later? Yeah, no worries. I'm going to wander around a little bit before we finish up.
Got to be kidding.
Ruh-roh. Oh, come back here, wood chipper. Or no, that's not a wood chipper. Harvester. I just saw the thing from the back and it looked like it was a wood chipper. And I'd be a bad gamer if I threw myself headfirst into the wood chipper by accident. I mean, who would do such a crazy thing? Alright, so before we head over and get Barry, so apparently, there's a framed photo of the Valhalla Farmhouse, this house right here, which was taken to local investigators by the FBI. And after the FBI was finished looking through it, it was later returned to Torn Odin, who permitted Barry to keep it. So Barry was able to keep this portrait after all the events occurred. And there was a quote at the base of this portrait that said, "Never walk away from home ahead of your axe and sword. You can't feel a battle in your bones or foresee a fight." The Hayamal. Essentially, you're never going to predict when you're going to be in a scuffle, so you might as well always be prepared for it. Alright, let's head back. Oh! Seriously, did no one get the freaking, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil reference I just did? No one commented on it, damn it. Thank you, Break, for noticing. No one else commented, so I was wondering if I'm just alone in knowing. It's a cult classic, guys. Come on. Oh, Ichiro, you gotta check it out. If you like horror comedies, trust me, it's on up there.
Al? Is that you out there, buddy?
Yeah, it's me. Hang on.
Hey, let's go, man.
Let's do this.
I think we're gonna have to work together to open this gate, Al. Looks pretty heavy.
It's
Hey,
already
I
open.
think that's the farm on the other side of the field. We're almost there. This farm is a crazy place for crazy people.
We should feel right at home then.
See this red coat? That's his plot armor right there.
Come on, one more gate. Let's do this thing.
Boom. I love how they just left the chainsaw sticking inside the tree. Oh, you're talking about how they set up the posts here? Because they have wood siding across the whole thing, but they also have... Yeah, and they have hardwood siding along the edges here. It does look like the cabin, doesn't it? Which doesn't really necessarily even need to be there. I mean, like, I can perfectly understand that there's shoring going on here, which is just if there's structural integrity issues, that they would add extra support. For example, like, right now my carport's shored up. I'm in the process of converting it into a garage, and a lot of the 4x4 and 4x6 posts are cut, so the concrete can be replaced, and as a result, I have this type of framing to shore up or support it during that phase. They're turning the house into a Viking boat. I don't remember where I read that, though. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, they have the figurehead here at the top of the ridge caps. Where they have, like, the dragon at the top. Yeah, most likely they weren't intending to make the cabin out of this. They were just trying to make this into a boat. Maybe it's the boat they're going to use to sail the Sea of Night. Who knows? Actually, let me write that. Let me write this down real quick. Where is my notes? Where's my notes? Video essay, current projects, writing, Alan Wake, stream notes, there we go. Recover all selected, because my computer decided to break on me. There we go. So, Andersons were converting their home into a Viking longboat. Alright, we're good. Let's get inside. You want to sing them from their boats in their young forms? Oh, dude, we can still have that. That could still be a thing.
Guess we better check the fuse box.
Alright, before we do anything, let's grab a few things. So we've got a thermos right here. And where's the kitchen? Where's the kitchen? And a thermos right there. Let's go ahead and read both. Boom. And these are on page 163 and 164. Oh yeah, this is the photo, the painting right here that I mentioned that Barry ended up going home with. Never walk away from home ahead of your axe. Cooper's not been texting me for a while. I think his theorizing freaked out too many of the upper echelon. Meanwhile, I'm back tracing the coffee thermos collection of Alan Wake, including the 2 thermoses inside the Andersons' Scandinavian sanitarium for the deluded old rockers. This one was downstairs in the restroom. What did it say again? Oh, I mentioned that earlier. It said, never walk away from home ahead of your axe and sword. You can't feel a battle in your bones or foresee a fight. We found this thermos in the kitchen, which was in bad shape. Equipment ripped open, fireworks not properly stowed, and raucous music playing. We got them on multiple misdemeanor counts, but they're deemed unfit to stand. We've been referred to Hartman over at the lodge, but he's gone walkabout with most of his patients. AKA, he just vanished. But these guys aren't responsible for the thermos scattering. And done. Okay, sign you off. Boom and boom. So in Alan Wake Illuminated, which is the art book, they had a cut scenario during the section where they originally came here and the power was on, but the power was cut off at some point. So Alan had to essentially go outside to find I want to say an external generator, and while outside he was attacked by hooded figures, and it's never really explained what that means in full. Just hooded figures. Let's head upstairs. Oh my gosh, my voice is starting to crack on me. Alright, so
let's get the lights on, huh?
In the Valley of My Shadow, one of their albums right here,
You know, this
which we
place
read
looks
the
kinda
review.
lived in. I thought the Andersons were on the booby hatch.
Yeah, I don't think they keep too close an eye on them at the clinic. They seem to slip away a lot so they can get wasted.
Honestly,
Kidding? Those guys sound awesome.
Raifu, I don't know if the whole unfit to stand trial only works for murder cases. I'm pretty sure it's kind of just a thing.
Again, Alice's screams rang in the stillness of the night. I saw myself run toward the cabin, flashlight in my hand. I followed my past self. I was an out-of-body observer, a time traveler in a crazy drunken dream. This was the beginning. The night Alice had disappeared. The mystery of what had happened during the missing week was about to reveal itself.
Okay. Now, before we do anything else, we're going to have to take a quick pause. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to grab some water, and then we have some reading to do. 1 second. Okay. So you guys ready for some reading? Let's go. So since we're standing in Valhalla, we might as well read the official Old Gods of Asgard website. Now, this is no longer up actively on the internet, but through the Wayback Machine, I'm able to find it. So, let's go through everything we need to know about the Old Gods. Hey, Bird, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. Hope your day is doing well. So this is official from Remedy then? Yes. And this was an in-universe website, not the ones we have now, which is like a post the fall Old Gods thing. Anyways, the Old Gods of Asgard is the best band in the history of mankind. They were fearless pioneers who worked a rock and roll magic of their own, and they've never been equaled. You may never have heard about them before because they didn't sell out like so many other bands, but they made 6 great records and quit at the height of their powers. Alright, so we have Children of the Elder God, which was the one we listened to during that fight sequence. Here's a song I love and I heard it's included in the new video game Alan Wake. It's so cool that the old beards get some recognition. Now, we know in Quantum Break, Alan Wake actually is a video game in that setting. Which is a little odd. But an in-universe character acknowledges that this is a video game. Now, when this is supposed to take place, maybe Barry licensed it after the fact? Well, I actually have some notes on that right now. Give me a second. American Nightmare. So, there is a radio interview that's being had with Eddie Rodman, who is the one running the Night Springs radio service. He's kind of like the Pat Maine of that game. And he's talking to Serena Valdivia and Alice Wake regarding a few things. And they mention that Barry's still handling, after the events of this game... Yes, there's some stuff break where it kind of very much implies this website is set in universe. Sorry, so it's implied Barry's still working with the business and is helping to license things out. And currently Barry is in talks to have a TV series, a video game, and a movie being produced, specifically about Alex Casey, but it wouldn't surprise me if an Alan Wake video game was also produced. But who knows? Or this is written from the perspective of someone in our world, in real life, that has seen Old Gods in real life, so it's supposed to be like an extra meta level, but who freaking knows. And the Poet of the Muse. Update. I found the second Old Gods of Asgard song from the game. It's here. We are the #1 Old Gods fan site on the net. We dug around for old articles and stuff and put them online so everyone can know how great this band was. We're just doing this out of love because nobody has this cool old stuff anymore, and we don't want people to forget how fantastic the Old Gods of Asgard were. Please don't sue us. The age of murder and storm never dies, everybody. And that is the title of a book in Max Payne, in the Ragnarok Club. Also, if you like Old Gods, I recently found this band Poets of the Fall, and their singer sounds a bit like Odin. Come check them out. So let's look at the history. Alright, I found this in an issue of Rock Retrospective from 1992. So, again, this is saying that they found a magazine talking about the Old Gods in 1992, which, again, 18 years before this game was released, which further suggests this was supposed to be an in-universe website. It's a great look back at the band's history, but I don't think it's the whole truth. History. The Anderson brothers founded the band in 1971, after Zayn vanished. While both had already been professional musicians for several years, their career had been less than successful. Mostly because, as the duo believed, they lacked the formidable stage presence of others, more successful bands. In a bid to achieve more popularity, and influenced by their Scandinavian heritage, they co-opted the identities of Norse gods for their stage personas, going so far as to legally change their names. Now, we don't know what their names were before they were changed. One second. Oh, that went down the wrong tube. Sorry, I'm trying to soothe my throat and not make it worse. Ugh. Okay. It's fair to say that the Andersons were not scholars, and especially in the beginning, this was a little more than a gimmick. But their new personas were spot on. And as the band gained momentum, got more comfortable with these roles, they became an irrevocable part of their lifestyle and public image. Odin Anderson was the band's leader and co-founder. He wasn't the most flamboyant figure, but it's fair to see that he was the driving force behind Old Gods of Asgard. This fit was well with his namesake, as in the myths the wise Odin was the All-Father, ruler of Asgard and home of the gods. Odin's brother Thor co-founded the band with him. His new name referred to Thor, even though he preferred the original spelling. The hot-tempered god of thunder whose mighty hammer and gigantic strength featured in many old stories. It was a good fit for Thor Anderson, whose energetic drumming and often unpredictable mood swings, as well as his well-known unwillingness to back down from a fight, soon became the stuff of rock and roll legends. On the other hand, Thor's persona exemplifies the way the old gods were willing to overlook certain details. In the legends, Thor is Odin's son, not his brother. The duo next found Fat Bob Balder, who, despite his nickname, was actually a very lithe man. In the Norse myths, Balder is associated with beauty, love, and happiness, all qualities that fit Fat Bob tremendously well. Not only did his hippie roots predispose him towards a certain tender sensibility that made him very popular with women, he was also a calming influence on the otherwise tumultuous band. And finally, there was Loki. In retrospect, perhaps not the wisest choice of identities, given that in Norse myths, he's a malicious and cunning character known for his tricks. On the other hand, from all accounts, it fit Loki Darkins perfectly, who is constantly at odds with his bandmates. Loki went missing after the release of their second album in 1972, Follow Me Underground. Now, if you remember back to the Bright Falls prequel series, for some reason in the credits they give Rose the last name Darkins. So her name is Rose Darkins in the TV show. And then in the game it's Rose Marigold. I don't know why there's a variance there, because these were the TV show was released literally the week preceding the game being released. So an error in development doesn't seem likely, but I don't know. On top of that, we will get more about Follow Me Underground in the This House of Dreams blog, because they use that expression in some of Thomas Zane's poetry. Anyways, I've heard a lot of rumors that Thor beat Loki up so bad he ended up in intensive care for a week. I don't know if it's true, but I hope it's because he stole money from the band and just screwed everything up. Despite the loss of Loki's considerable guitar skills, it's clear that without him, the band functioned better. During the next 6 years, Old Gods of Asgard released 4 fairly successful studio albums, bringing the total number up to 6. Megastardom on the level of some of their contemporaries eluded them, but the sales were consistently good and the band was in constant demand. A great deal of this success came from the carefully crafted images of Old Gods of Asgard and their material, a curious mix of heavy rock, Norse myths, strange urban legends, and fantasy, presented in their bona fide hits such as The Poet and the Muse, The Black Rider Cometh, The Children of the Elder Gods, and In the Valley of My Shadow. Oh, sorry. So The Poet and the Muse was on the Black Rider Cometh album in 1976, which that was one of the AWE events where I believe the tornado hit the farm. And then Children of the Elder God, which was in the 1978 album In the Valley of My Shadow, which I believe was the last album they produced, if I'm not mistaken. Earned them mainstream popularity. The 7th album was in the works but was never released, after the unfortunate demise of Fat Bob before the recording was complete. Again, we get this reoccurring thing of 6 being produced, 7 never being finished. The sculptor that Hartman was working with did the same thing. He had 6 sculptures that were sold off, and the 7th one he could never finish. Whether that means anything, I have no freaking clue. Anyways, after his death, after Fat Bob's death, the Andersons retired to the small town in Bright Falls, Washington, where their old family farm had long served as the band's headquarters. So I'd presume that the 3 skeletons we saw in the graveyard were 3 of their deceased family members, since they called it the old family farm. I heard that place was insane back in the day. Actually, I went there with my crew in 2003 to see if we could meet the Andersons, but the place looked pretty messy and run down. Then this mean-looking guy came out and told us to leave because they were trespassing, most likely Walt Snyder. We were just looking in through the windows. They had some wicked guitars in there. He said the guys were seeing their doctors, and they were pretty old now, so they didn't want to meet any fans. We didn't want any trouble, so we left, but it was pretty sweet just to see their digs. The Old Gods never quite gained the worldwide recognition they'd hoped for, but for almost a decade, they enjoyed a successful career and maintained a solid cult following among rock and roll connoisseurs to this day. Alright, let's look at the band members. Okay, I got this stuff from a book called The Hidden History of Heavy Metal, and it's pretty sweet. It's out of print now, so don't bother looking for it. But I lost my copy when my brother-in-law ripped off some stuff for me, so if anyone finds one, I'll buy it off your hands because it has a lot of other great stuff in it, too. Digs? Yeah, digs. No one uses that expression anymore, do they? Okay. Anyways, the band. Odin Andersson is the songwriter, lyricist, and guitarist. Odin was the group's central figure, responsible for writing almost all of the band's songs and known for his authority among the rest of the group. In addition to material, Odin came up with Old God's image. He was well known for a degree of control he wielded over the band, which was an occasional source of strife within the group. Unlike other members, Odin was never very comfortable in the limelight. As a guitar player, he preferred impeccable technique over flamboyant displays of skill, although he was certainly capable of the latter when required, and he preferred to do most of his work behind the scenes. Odin was like a god. You know what I mean? Seriously, that guy was so awesome. I got into the Old Gods a little late because I was so young, but at least it wasn't too late. This guy had insane stage presence. He was like a commander of a huge army when the band played or something. Best years of my life. I met my first girlfriend in an Old Gods show, so I owe them for that too. Smiley face. Alright, Tor Anderson, drums, charisma, and energy. The charismatic Tor Anderson was known for the relentless energy he brought into the band, whether it was performing, partying, or arguing. He was the figure many people most readily associated with the band, if only because he had the biggest physical presence. Easily angered but quick to laugh, Tor was known both for his habit of getting into trouble and his willingness to make up for it afterwards, and he never avoided a chance to be the center of attention. Fat Bob Balder on bass. Fat Bob was well known for his friendly and open demeanor, and he was an extremely well-liked man. Despite being a former flower child who never quite managed to accept that the summer of love had ended, he was nevertheless not a naive man. It's often said that Bob Balder was the glue that held the band together. His presence had a calming effect on the volatile Tor, he smoothed things over with the capricious Loki, and he was the right-hand man for Odin. It's certainly true that with his absence, the Old Gods fell apart. Fat Bob was diagnosed with leukemia and died in 1980, and the band never recovered from that loss. The promised new record was quietly scrapped as a result. Okay, so this may have nothing to do with anything, but I wanted it noted. So, Bob died in 1980, which just happens to be the same year that Mount St. Helens erupted. And they mentioned that date on the tree ring earlier on in the game. Now, most likely has nothing to do with anything, but noted. Alright, Loki Darkins, the second guitar. Loki was an excellent and inspired guitar player, but his behavior was a constant source of friction in the band. He would blow off practice sessions, and he had a reputation for uncaring, even cruel behavior. What's more, he was undependable. Loki would often blow off practice sessions or disappear without letting the others know where he was, and there were numerous public arguments about money. It's rumored that he was on the verge of getting fired from the band because the other Old Gods were sick of his antics, but he was still a considerable presence on the first records. Many fans enjoyed his unpredictable quirks he brought to the band's sound. Loki's current whereabouts are unknown, as he disappeared under unclear circumstances shortly after the release of Follow Me Underground. Now, I still think Loki's going to make an appearance at some point in the RCU. It would just make too much sense. It's kind of like how we followed the White Rabbit underground, as Alice said. So the album being Follow Me Underground, and randomly he disappears. I wonder if he disappeared into the dark place somehow. But who knows? Who knows? All real Old God fans know that Loki was a damn snake. He was stealing money and always trying to run the band, even though it was totally Odin's band. Sure, he played guitar really well, but he's not, well, he was just not fitting in with the rest of the guys. I know this dude who saw the Old Gods play back in LA in 1971, and he says Loki just messed the whole gig up when he started throwing stuff like beer bottles into the audience and hurt some people pretty bad. It was almost a riot. So, good riddance, too bad rubbish. So, I've heard a lot of theories about who Loki could potentially be. And also remember that these are not their real names. Like, I'd presume Bob is his real first name, but Loki, Thor, and Odin, that's not their real names. Meaning they could have been called something else at some point in time. I honestly, Raven, I'm kind of with you. I think that filmmaker Zane is a good candidate for Loki. Because he plays that trickster archetype very, very well. That would not surprise me in the slightest. Wait, Marama, are you talking about the actual album for Rebirth? Because I have a copy of the album on me, but I haven't read the booklet, so maybe I should. Like, let me make a note to do that. There we go. I actually don't own the vinyl copy of it, but I can probably find it online. I'll take a look at it. Thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. Did Scratch even appear in Alan Wake 1? Yes. Briefly. Alright, let's do the discography real quick, and then we're going to be wrapped up with the website. So, in 1971, we have The Memory of the Slaughter. Follow Me Underground, which was the one where Loki vanished. Alone at My Own Wake, which I believe is a line from Sudden Stop. So Alan used that line as well in the last Alex Casey book. The Unraveling of Reason's Skein, which was a quote in Balance Slays the Demon, so most likely they are just referencing themselves. And Balance Slays the Demon is confirmed to have been written after the events of this game. So that's just them referencing themselves. The Black Rider Cometh, which, again, this is 1976, most likely referring to the Scratching Hag in this situation. Because at this time, she wasn't called Barbara Jagger. She was going by the pseudonym of the Scratching Hag. And then In the Valley of My Shadow, 1978. And that's about it. So yeah, there's a lot of history to these guys, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if filmmaker Zane is Loki. Which again, he's a shapeshifter and a trickster. And generally, Break, you know my theories on filmmaker Zane. I haven't published that video yet, but I have a lot of thoughts, and that could play into it. But the fact they're still referencing Loki as far back as 2023,
we need to find where it's coming from.
They haven't forgot about him. That's good information.
That's the whole reason we're here.
Lady of the Light? Oh, that's gotta be what's-her-face, the crazy lamp lady from the town.
Cynthia Weaver.
Right. Must be.
Okay.
We need to find Cynthia Weaver. We'll stay here for the night and head back to town as soon as it gets light.
Hey, Al. Lots of hours before dawn. Might as well get some rest. And by rest, I mean drunk.
Come on, Barry, this is... Yeah, what the hell?
So, cool little detail is in the art book. Actually, I'll wait until this is done.
No, seriously, because I know we don't get along, but we're gonna find her, right? And even though you're a crazy bastard, I'm gonna stick by you, no matter what, ever, Al. Sure, like a brother.
I'm a writer, god damn it.
Correct.
If I just wanted to, I could write 10 books a year. And they'd be the best books that year.
No, you couldn't.
That's right, I couldn't. But I could, because I'm a writer.
What? What do they put in this stuff? I feel like my brain is coming out of my nose. I'm gonna get the recipe off those coots and be a booze millionaire.
The booze millionaire.
I just miss her, Barry. I just want her here with me.
I know, Al. I know. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna make it okay.
Destiny. Alright, so now they're sleeping, I can talk again. So, in the art book, they, one original idea they had was that this dream sequence, the cardboard cutout is what actually came alive and acted as a spirit guide. The cardboard cutout. Which is most likely why it's even in the game to begin with, and they decided to cut that detail, but they kept the cardboard cutout.
Alice, I'm coming. It's all right. I'm coming.
It was a crazy drunken dream, and yet it was more than that. It was the truth, a suppressed memory unearthed by the Andersons' moonshine. I was there, an out-of-body observer. This was the night Alice and I had arrived at Bright Falls, the night Alice had disappeared. I had a chance to find out what had happened. I remembered being surprised to see the cabin dark. Alice would have never turned the lights off.
So I'm gonna just take some creative liberty here. This exact same scene happened in Max Payne 2, where Max began to perceive his reality from the perspective of the video game camera, hence why he was an out-of-body observer following himself. I'm gonna say Alan's doing the same thing right now, where he's perceiving his POV through the video game camera.
Memory, there was nothing.
Just saying.
I had to follow the footsteps of my past self to find out what had happened that night. I remembered thinking I caught a glimpse of her form underwater, sinking into the darkness. Diving after her was the last vague memory I had of that night. After that, the next thing I could remember was waking up behind the wheel of the crashed car and finding the first pages of the manuscript. I couldn't find her in all that blackness. I must have thought she drowned.
Correct. Dylan does the exact same thing in Control, where he perceives himself from the video game camera.
Alice!
Jagger had Alice, and so she had me.
Alice!
I'd been easy prey.
Look at the cabin. Is there someone in the window?
Alice?
Maybe she didn't drown after all. Maybe she's inside.
Alice!
Yes.
I'm sorry, Barbara. Why are you wearing those heels on this kind of a freaking port deck? That cannot be comfortable walking around, just saying.
The dark presence had touched me. She had dug her nails into my brain and used me, made me her puppet.
She must be here somewhere. Maybe upstairs in the study.
Alice!
Yes, that's where she is. You can apologize.
Alice!
You'll laugh at the whole thing together and put it behind you.
Alice?
She's not here. You were foolish to think so. No, she's dead. She drowned.
No, no, no!
It's your fault your wife is dead. You are guilty. All she wanted was to help you right. You killed her. Oh, hush. There's still hope. Cauldron Lake is a special place. Here, you have the power to change things. She wanted you to write. I will tell you what to do. You can write her back. The story will come true, and all will be well again.
Oh, look, it's the owl and the deer.
She had Alice, and the manuscript was the ransom for her. Yes. All right. I'll fix it. I'll bring her back.
And she's aware of us.
No.
Which is even creepier.
I wrote it. I remembered it all now. In the dark, I'd written for days, a week, almost a complete manuscript of a novel entitled Departure.
Pay attention to the
Jagger had been
number
my editor,
on
whispering in
Zane's
my
or
ear,
the diver's
making sure
back.
that the unfolding story would make her more and more powerful. I thought I was saving Alice.
Pay attention.
Even with the cobweb she put in my head, some part of me had been aware enough to write my escape into the story, to bring a light into the cabin to release me before I could finish, to interrupt the horror story before the ending, where darkness consumed everything and everyone. Zane was weak and far away, but I had written him into the story, and his light had been enough to set me free.
It isn't here now. I'm here because it was written. I brought the light to set you free. You must hurry. It will know I'm here. It will be back soon. It stole the skin of my Barbara a long time ago. She looks so old.
Six, 6, 7.
I had woken up, confused
on the back.
and groggy, my mind consumed by darkness and fear. All I could do was to escape.
No, Trailblazer. 667, neighbor of the
week
beast.
spent in the cabin had taken its toll. I was barely conscious and fading fast. It had to have cost Zane terribly, thrown him even deeper into whatever dark place he now haunted. But he had managed to weaken the dark presence, kept me safe that night.
I've actually wondered if there's a difference between 665 and 667. Like before the beast or after the beast.
I wrote it. It's my fault.
That's right, James Joyce. It's your fault, and you're gonna pay for it.
The mystery of Tom the Poet and his muse. Alright, no copyright. I've already been copyrighted once. You guys lied to me. I did get a copyright claim on Haunted by Poe. Maybe 665 and 667 are two different characters. Well, like, I don't know, because we had 665 in Max Payne 1, Quantum Break, a lot in Control, But then we had 667 in Max Payne 2. We have 667 here. So it's kind of just like all over the place. So, yeah. No idea, guys. Absolutely no idea. Fine. Your bullying worked. Yes, cyberbullying claims another victim. Good job, guys. There are worse battles to lose. Well, Dr. Spooky, that's why I always try to say this is the diver and not say this is Thomas Zane. I try to say the diver, because the diver's a character. But if we go off on the hypothesis that filmmaker Zane is Loki, then how... It's feasibly possible that his original name was Tom before he changed it to Loki legally. Who knows? Oh, I know there's an option to not play copyrighted music, but frankly, Spooky, I really don't care. Because it's not like I get strikes. Claims just means I have to split the monetization, which, let's be real, I'm gonna get maybe like $4 from these movies, or from these videos, so it's like, it's not a big deal. I realize technically we have no idea about Zane. We have the diver and notes, but those characters are wearing his skin. Well, ultimately speaking, my position, as it's explained in the blog spot for this House of Dreams, is that a entity known as the Bright Presence is using the body of Zane, aka the diver. So like Barbara Jagger is the Dark Presence in human form, the Bright Presence is in human form using the diver's body. No, not Polaris, the Bright Presence, different character. Polaris is a resonance. The Dark and the Bright Presence are two, like, as old as creation entities. But we'll talk more about that once we get to the blog spot, which we will read basically as soon as we finish up the DLCs. You want the Anderson brothers in the Kingdom Hearts universe? Oh dear. Set free. Anyways, but yeah, what they say in the blog spot is that during the final dive, the essence of Zane and Barbara left their bodies and entered a baby universe. And they lived there happily ever after, essentially. But their bodies remained in the dark place and were taken over by the Dark and the Bright Presence, who then rose back up.
Previously on Alan Wake, under the...
They rose back up out of the lake to continue haunting the place. Hence the ending of that song, They May Still Haunt This Place. So it's not them anymore. It's two entities that have taken their forms, while the essence, the souls, so to speak, have left and entered their own baby universe. Now, what that means, who knows? I've actually wondered if the universe that Barbara and Thomas entered is the one that we're playing right now, or if this is the universe that they left behind. Most likely it's the one they left behind. That's more supported by the text, but Who knows? When do we plan an ending stream tonight? Right now. We're ending the stream right now. My voice is getting ready to kill me, and honestly, it's a perfect ending point. Most likely, we're going to have 3 more streams to finish the main game, and then I could probably get through both of the DLCs in one go. Because we really don't have a lot of... There's not any side content, so we're not going to be pausing. We're literally just going to be playing it. So I'd say probably 4 more streams. We'll be finishing this up next week for sure. Well, I wouldn't want to say, Trailblazer, that they enter the Death Rally universe, because remember, Tom Reimer in the Death Rally universe, his wife left him. So that doesn't sound like Barbara and Tom lived happily ever after. What about American Nightmare? Yeah, we're going to be doing that too. But we're going to finish up the DLCs, and then we're going to be reading the blog spot as one stream, which will probably be a really short one, and then we'll play American Nightmare. But yeah, that's going to be about it right now, because my voice is starting to die. I'm sorry about that. Anyways, guys, take it easy. I'm not sure. I may still stream on Friday, but because it's the start of the holiday weekend, I'm not really sure or not. I'll think about it and let you guys know. Anyways, take it easy, y'all. Peace. Love ya. Have a good 4th of July. Peace.